Every time you say the word demon, one shows up. Don't you know that?
A demon!
Stop it, you madman! I'm deadly serious.
A demon!
I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I wanted to hate this game. I still kind of want to hate this game, and I actually hate that I don't hate this game. I don't know what I'm saying. This is one of the most boring and monotonous games I've ever played, and yet I'm still playing it. I'm going on almost 50 hours. How is that possible? Well, I'm gonna share with you a story of what's happened to me so far and try and put this into perspective. I'm gonna try and not reveal any major spoilers, but as a warning, I'll be showing some footage from the early to middle of the game, including some campaign footage. Okay, so our story begins on a bench in Trosky. It's roughly 6 p.m. and the castle's beginning to kind of quiet down for the night. Merchants are starting to close up shop and head home. Currently, I'm waiting for this lowly stable hand to wrap up his final tasks of the day and begin walking home. My mission right now is simple. Follow him home, let myself in quietly around midnight, and take everything he has to his name down to the last apple in the cellar. Why am I doing this? Well, 2 days ago, I had painstakingly snuck through the halls of this huge fortress and climbed to the very tippy top of the spire to steal this golden chalice and crucifix next to it. It took me a while to bypass several guards and cautiously move about the castle as not to be seen. This is because the game has a very realistic investigative deduction system. If you're seen in an area that you don't belong in and then an item from the area goes missing, you are the assumed offender. Guilty until proven innocent, anyway.
How dare you accuse me like that? Like some ordinary peasant.
So my mission goes perfectly. I get in and I get out unseen. I then spend 2 days hiding away in my quarters, waiting for the heat to kind of die down on those missing items. When the dust did finally settle, I emerged triumphant from my hidey hole with the stolen items in hand, ready to pawn them off on someone unaware of the item's origin for a good nice haul of groschen. Groschen, by the way, is the currency in medieval Bohemia. So I locate the gentleman with the deepest pockets I can find, and I approach him with the valuable wares I've recently acquired, only to get absolutely hustled by this stable boy. Apparently, he's also the town medium because somehow he knew that this particular item was stolen.
Selling me stolen wares, eh? I can tell at a glance. That means a lower price, friend.
Instead of reporting me, however, he decides he's gonna do me a favor and offer me a sum of about 140 groschen for an item worth easily 6 times that amount. So of course I try to haggle for a higher amount, but he wasn't having it. Walking away feeling completely defeated by this little swindler, I was annoyed. I was bothered that I did all this work. I went through the emotional turmoil of sneaking around the castle under the pressure that capture meant at best a flogging or a day in the stocks. And this offers me next to nothing. Could I have let it go and moved on? Sure. Is that the grown-up thing to do? Yes. Yes, it is. But that's besides the point. I was not about to be humiliated by this dirty plebeian stable hand and take it sitting down. So there I was, sitting on the bench, brooding, watching this piece of hammer away at whatever he was working on, debating whether or not I was going to strangle him after I took all of his things, and then I thought to myself, what the hell am I doing? I've been waiting here for like 20 real-life minutes. I could be out riding the rolling hills of medieval Bohemia, slaying bandit gangs and rescuing damsels, but here I am vindictively waiting outside an NPC's house for him to go to bed so I can rob him blind. So after a long internal debate with my conscience, psst. It's me. But that's what this game has turned me into. As I was closing the door to the hut draped in the subtle blue glow of the moonlight, I came to this realization.
Yep, but I'm a piece of
Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is not a game about a hero's journey through Bohemia. It's merely a medieval life simulator with freedom, choice, and consequence. Warhorse Studios created an environment for you to write your own stories and maybe learn something about yourself along the way. And what I just discovered is that without the modern inconveniences of cameras and real-life consequences of my actions, my natural response to hardship is to devolve into a vengeful, murderous thief. I then began to double down on my behavior and move from town to town, spending my days casing the local shops and my nights cleaning them out. And before I knew it, I had completely neglected the story altogether and had become the most effective thief in all of Trosky. But damn it, if it isn't the most fun I've had in a long time playing video games. I'm not kidding when I say this, and feel free to throw your rotten vegetables in the comments section, but I have spent more time crouch walking through people's bedrooms at midnight than holding a sword in a game about fighting people with swords. A part of me wants to do better. I just can't help it. The mystery of what lies beyond the locks in the chest at the foot of the bed is too alluring to pass up. Is it an expensive piece of armor, perhaps a valuable necklace, ring, or another golden chalice? I have to know, and I'm drawn to it like it's my precious.
What is it?
I wish I could say that I had a moral line in the sand, and that I was the Robin Hood of Bohemia only stealing from the wealthy, but sometimes housemaids sleeping on the floor of the attic have a few groschen in their pockets, and those old ratty shoes may only go for a coin or two, but it all adds up in the end. I mean, life as a noble's bodyguard is expensive. If I'm to pay the village tough guy a few hundred groschen to teach me a new move, that has to come from somewhere. And these quest givers are stingy. Who wants to haul sacks of flour into the tavern cellar for a few groschen when you can break into the tavern after hours and raid the till? But aside from the unbecoming behavior of my current playthrough, I've been completely and totally enamored by the world that has been built around me. At every turn, I'm discovering new details and appreciating not just the beauty of this game, but the lore and the narrative depth as well. For example, it would be very easy to miss the fact that the sidewalk leading into the mill at the south of the map is actually made up of old millstones that have been ground down and are no longer of use. Or that smoke billows from the buildings, leaving charred smoke stains on the plaster, and NPCs actually have full routines. They are actually living their lives, and you are just a part of it.
Ow! Ouch! Enough!
And if you do go down the road of crime like I have, if you're feeling guilty for your actions, according to Father Nicodemus of Trosky, you can just pay the church a few hundred groschen to absolve you of your sin.
Oh, have you got a guilty conscience, friend? You can pay the indulgence in the scribe's box.
Catholics.
My advice to those of you who choose a life of crime is simply don't get caught, especially if you're as bad with a sword as I am. Speaking of swords, I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing when it comes to combat. I feel like all I can do is just swing the sword around like a chimpanzee with a stick, hoping that I land a killing blow. I couldn't even manage to fight off this asshole of a stray dog earlier in the game.
Oh, why do I suck so bad?
If I'm forced into conflict, I usually end up dying, completely drained of stamina and any sense of pride. That is my main complaint so far. I wish the combat system was a little more forgiving and a little less clunky, but it's probably just me and my lack of brain function. The only other gripe I have is some goofy interactions with NPCs, like this for example.
Look who's finally up! Henry! Come and join us!
What just happened?
I personally have enjoyed the cutscenes. There's a pretty constant undertone of dry humor throughout the game so far. It's made the endless amount of cinematic dialogue way more entertaining. It would be very easy for a game like this to get completely lost in narrative storytelling and linear progression like most of its predecessors, but Come Deliverance 2 has somehow taken a rather boring time in history and injected it with a colorful cast of characters, chaotic circumstances, and hilarious banter.
No, how many times have I told you? Are you deaf?
Pay no attention to him, Rupert.
Pay no attention to him, Rupert.
So some stuff I like. The world actually does feel like it's alive. It's grounded and, historical. The story, though frustrating at times, delivers on actions and consequences. The characters feel real and as complex as realistically possible in a video game. The gameplay is rewarding, whether you become a thief like myself or you invest time into mastering the sword. Nothing feels easy per se. There's no gimmies. Some stuff I don't like. I don't particularly understand the value of items. For example, if something in my inventory is worth 1200 groschen, why is it that I can only ever seem to get like a few hundred groschen at most from vendors for that particular item? It stands to reason that items should have a value range, and depending on where you take that item, you may get more or you may get less. But other than what I've said about the combat system and some of the goofy interactions I've had with some of the AI, I would rate this game a solid 9 out of 10. There are very few games that I feel like deserve a 10 out of 10, especially nowadays, but I can comfortably say that KCD2 has set a bar for storytelling and world building. And it would be really interesting to see how developers like Bethesda respond with games like Elder Scrolls 6, which is still a couple years away, but we'll see what happens. If you've played Come Deliverance 2, I would like to know what you guys think about the combat system. Is it just me or does it need some work? And if you haven't played KCD2, I'm wondering why you're holding out. Firstly, I would say,
Do it.
but I'd be curious to know why you haven't downloaded it yet. I mean, what are you waiting for? This game's amazing. Let me know down below. To everyone else, thanks for watching, and we'll see you sorry sons of bitches next time.
You know you have something sticking out of your forehead, right?
It's an arrow. Well, what's left of it, that is. A metal arrowhead and a bit of a wooden shaft.
Can I touch it?
If you touch it, I'll rip off both your arms, shove them up your arse, and make you clap.